Pregame.com.
There's a long history of the losers of the previous year's Super Bowl falling off a cliff the following season. What about Seattle? Teddy covers Steve Fezzik here on pregame.tv, and it's time to talk the Seattle Seahawks. The defending NFC champs, over under 11 wins. What are we going to do, Fez?
We bet over 11 wins plus 100, Teddy. Really like this play. Hey, there is a myth in the NFL about parity. You hear that all the time. I don't care about the history of Super Bowl losers. What I care about, if you look at last year, 8 projected division winners, if you bet them all over the total, you went 7-1. Your only loser was the New Orleans Saints. The bottom line is the premier teams keep it going year after year. There's no reason to think that this Seattle team isn't going to be in the top of the NFL charts again. And frankly, last year, I do power ratings each and every week. I always had them at the top. They lost in 92 degrees in San Diego. They lost a close game to Kansas City, one bad game at home against Dallas. It still was close. This is one of the elite teams in the NFL.
And we know that Pete Carroll is a dynasty-type coach because he did it at USC. Pete Carroll's first year at USC, I think they went 6-6. After that, every remaining year that he was on that team, each of the next 7 seasons, they won 11 games or more. Every single season, they were in contention for a national title. There weren't any letdowns, there weren't any down years, there weren't any rebuilding years. And based on the offseason personnel moves, Seattle looks every bit as loaded this year as they did last year, if not more, Fez.
Yeah, Seattle absolutely is upgraded. Jimmy Graham, great tight end, comes into the fold. That will make this team better. Remember, they were getting better at the end of last year. They lost that one game against the Rams with the ridiculous special teams and the
I remember.
And the 90-yard punt return when no one knew who had the ball. The last 6 weeks of this season, this team held their opponents to under 7 points per game. This team is loaded on over 11 is cheap.
Well, let me ask you this, though, because we are talking about an elite team. And there needs to be a discussion here about how do you deal with the very best teams in the NFL. Why don't you want Seattle to win the Super Bowl, for example, or to win the division, or to win the NFC? Why would you look at the win total as being the best way to attack the Seahawks?
This will be controversial, and it's not sexy. But the way the pros bet is typically they want to play into -110 lines. They don't want to play into a pool where the vigorous is more similar to horse racing or Keno. And that is why I, like other pros, pretty much across the board, avoid all the long shot, a needle in the haystack type of bets, just because I like other teams as well. And just historically, I've found that it's very, very difficult to find an edge in those markets.
Sure, and I don't think there's a ton of value betting on the Seahawks, but you know what? This is a team that I have absolutely no interest in fading. I'm certainly with you on that point.
Absolutely. Seattle is a bet, over 11 plus 100. Super excited to do NFL videos here in June and July, all summer long. Pregame.tv.